Hey there, whiskey folks. Here's a question for you. Do you know what was the largest non-nuclear explosion in the world? Or at least one of them anyway. It was Ripple Rock, just up at Campbell River here. So to celebrate this wonderful local history that we have, we've created a new whiskey called Ripple Rock Whisky. So this is the latest release from Shelter Point. Today I think is about the 20th of November, around there, 2020. So we're going to end this quite interesting year in quite a bang. And this is one of our most explosive whiskies yet in terms of flavour. Like, this is a massive flavour bomb. So if you haven't heard of Ripple Rock before, what it was an underwater mountain. And it was in the Seymour Narrows between Campbell River and Quadra. And it's a very horrible stretch of water to navigate in a boat. I think George Vancouver said in 1791, this is the vilest stretch of water in the whole world. And this stretch of water claimed over 100 lives, over 100 boats were badly damaged or sunk, because at low tide there was only about 2 meters between the top of the water and the top of this underwater mountain. So all these boats would get their hulls damaged or potentially would get swept away by the eddies, because it created these very dangerous eddies. So if you know, like the Corrie Vrecken whiskey, Ardbeg, like this is basically Canada's equivalent. This is Ripple Rock whiskey. So to deal with this navigational hazard, the great minds of Canada came up with a plan. And the plan was to mine or dig a tunnel down 500 feet, go across underwater and then up this mountain, the underwater mountain, and then fill it with dynamite and blow it up. And it took them, I think, 3 shifts over a few months to do this. They had a team of about 75 men working around the clock to build these tunnels and stuff it with dynamite. And they used about 1,200 tons of dynamite. And this is probably 10 times what they would have used if the explosion was above water. So as they say in Scotland, measure twice, cut once. So they wanted to make sure, they didn't want to go to all this effort of building these tunnels and then finding out they didn't use enough dynamite. So just use as much as you possibly can. So on the 5th of April 1958, they pressed the detonator button, and in one of the first live coast-to-coast television broadcasts in Canada, the whole country witnessed this huge explosion. About 630,000 tons of rock were instantly blown away, and the top of Ripple Rock Mountain was no more. There's now a 14-meter gap between the waterline and the top of this underwater mountain. So since then it's become a lot safer, and yeah, to celebrate, we've got this whiskey, Ripple Rock. Now, for the fans of Shelter Point that have followed us closely over the last few years, you may remember we produced a single cask virgin oak whiskey. It sold out in about 4 or 5 days. It was one of our most popular releases to date. And it was so popular we thought, okay, we're going to have to do this again. So this is essentially the same as that single cask, but a bigger release. So in this one we've combined 3 or 4 casks of our virgin oak whiskey. I spent 6 years in American oak, ex-Bourbon casks. Then we transferred it to heavily charred virgin oak casks, number 4 char, so kind of like an alligator char. Very intense flavour you get from these casks. We put it in there for 18 months, so we've got about a 7.5, 8-year-old whiskey here. It's 47% alcohol, non-chill filtered, natural colour, and you can buy this online from the store at $85 including tax. And it's almost got those like strong bourbony notes of like massive caramel, tons of vanilla, spices, heavy on the chocolate too. And I get a hint of cola cubes, if you ever remember those little sweets that you got at school, little cola cube flavoured ones. Kaboom! Oh, it's just such intense flavour. Massive, intense caramels, vanillas, spices. Good warming, creamy mouthfeel as well. Yeah, if you like single malt and you like bourbon, I think you're really going to like this, because it combines the best of both worlds. Really, I mean, look at that colour as well. It's like really intense, thick colour. It's nicely aged. It's one of the older shelter points we've done, around 8 years. And it's nice and smooth. So despite that intense flavour, there's not too much burn at all. This is like a easy drinker, I would say, but you know, if you're looking for that real intensive flavour hit, maybe you've had quite a flavoursome dinner and a lot of other whiskies would get drowned out, go for this one, because this won't get drowned out. This is going to dominate any other flavours there, I think. And because it's such a big whiskey, it needs a big glass and a big measure. So yeah, any questions about Ripple Rock, or you know, anything to do with Shelter Point, let me know. Put your comments down below. Happy dramming. I hope you get the chance to try this one. I'm absolutely delighted with it. This is a great whiskey. And yeah, enjoy your Shelter Point journey. Cheers everyone. Slán Java.